First and foremost, I want to say, call all Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. What I just said is all praises to the Father in the name of the Son. I also want to say, Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, Barakatah, may the Most High in Christ bless. We're going to get into this video, and then hopefully this can be a quick one. I'm only doing this because I said I was going to do the mountains equals nations video, and then that just led me on to a tangent where I'm at right now with the metaphorical tongue of Israel, because it would have been a rather short lesson to break that down. So I'm gonna start with the waters, the mountains and the hills equaling nations or peoples, and then I'm gonna make my way down through beast, and then snake or venomous, or vipers, I should say, and then that's gonna be pretty much it, man. I'm gonna show you how pretty much the people of old talk like the Israelites of today, man, metaphorically, and not just everything being exactly what it is, man. Like, you think of the Israelites of today, we use a lot of metaphors in our music and all that good stuff, man. So it's similar to the Israelites of antiquity, right? So we're gonna get into it and then leave it at that. So the waters is typically representative of the peoples and nations. Let's see, I don't have a revelation. I do have a revelation pulled up, so let's get this revelation 15, 16, 17 here. So we get in Revelation 17, 15, and it reads, he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth, right, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, right? So this talking about this waters, right, which America which is America, right? Well, the beast that sit upon many waters, right? The beast is America, and the waters is the many peoples and nations and multitudes, right? And nations and tongues, because they basically over everybody, man. That's what this Revelation 17 going into, right? The great whore, man, right? Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots, the abomination of the earth. That's what it's talking about here, man. Right? So this the beast that we're gonna eventually get into, right, is in this chapter, and there's also in other parts of Revelation. But it's talking about the nation of America, man. Right? Let's go into another one to prove this this thing here, man. So, and it's not always the case where it's talking about waters as peoples and nations, man. Because sometimes you got literal meanings of these words, man. Right? This is just sometimes how the people say, man, it's war. They like water, man. The waters are the people's nations, and you know that's just us symbolically speaking of how we normally speak, man. That ain't just sometimes it's just regular water. Give me some water. I need some water. Or how Moses parted the Red Sea. He split the waters, right? That was just talking about water. That wasn't no spiritual thing, man. You can't always think that it's metaphorical, man. Some people might go into, well, the Bible is not always literal. I mean, it sometimes is it's metaphorical or spiritual, man, or so on and so forth, right? And you can't get lost in that, man. So this ain't saying that all words mean the same thing, but in many cases, that is what happens, man. Well, not even in many cases. It's a contextual condition, man. So you got to go off the context of the scriptures, man. So there's Isaiah chapter 8, verse 7, and it says, now therefore, behold, the Lord bringeth up upon them the waters of the river, strong and many, even the king of Assyria, right, in all his glory, right, and he shall come up over all his channels, so like banks, river banks, and go over all his banks, channels, river channels, and banks, man. He referring to the king of Assyria and his army pretty much as a river, man, as waters, man, right? I got this TV on over here. I'm hoping my lights ain't flashing in here. But that's what it's going into, man. It's going into how that's what it is, man. I might have to move this mic over here. It ain't the cord ain't long enough right now to do that, but I'm gonna have to switch this setup. So I'm looking towards this way while I'm on the thing. I could actually even do this a little bit, man. I don't all have to be. I just don't want this messy ass thing in a way. But yeah, man, that's what it's going into, man. You know, go like this a little bit, right? It's not that bad. I don't like that in the background. Right, it's still there though. Oh well. I could even do this a lot, yeah. Bear with me. I'll be getting distracted, man. Oh well, it's still. Oh, it ain't there. All right, so yeah. So in this case, the king of Assyria is referred to as waters of the rivers, man. Right? He's literally talking about a man, right? A person. So and sometimes the waters is literally not talking about what it is, man. Right? He like the king. He like the Salakia. Let me slow down. Right? It says, "The Lord bringeth up upon them the waters of the river, strong and many." So he says they overtaken by a fleet, man. Right? Pretty much saying right, what that's going into. Let's see this. This Jeremiah chapter 47 verse 2, and thus saith Yahweh, behold, waters rise up out of the north, waters rise up out of the north, and shall be an overflowing flood, right? Oh, and shall overflow the land, and all that is therein, the city, and them that dwell therein, the men shall cry, and the inhabitants of the land shall howl. Because that's talking about, man. That's talking about how all the other nations from the north are all the other nations going to go up against the land of the north, man. This is say that shall rise out of the north, man. Right? These places is actually going to go against the north, man. Against what we know as North America, man. Right? Or America, the so-called great, man. Right? This is what it's going into, man. They shall rise out. Waters shall rise out of the north. Talking about it's going to be a bunch of people who rebellion against the system, man. Right? So this is just going into how sometimes the word waters can refer to nations and how these nations do in a judgment, man. Right? It's usually water. It's talking about getting beat up or something, man. Right? Or getting destroyed or something. Because water through time, man, it destroys people, things, man. Not even people, but things. Right? It would cause erosion over time, man. But even in quickly, man, like a tsunami, man. Right? If a dam break down, man, it could take over a whole city in a matter of minutes, man. So water ain't just something that takes erodes some over the time. It could destroy you momentarily, man. Right? So we're gonna go into these mountains, which is referred to as basically kingdoms of governments, right? And we're gonna get that really quick. This Isaiah chapter 2, verse 2, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahweh's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. What is this talking about? This talking about mountains? No, it's talking about the children of Israel being established over the other nations, Deuteronomy 7 and 6. I'm not getting precepts to back these up. I'm just going to get it to show you that it's talking in a symbolic way, man, right? And it says, it shall be exalted above the hills. So the hills are lesser nations, man. Right, and all nations shall flow unto it. All nations flowing unto Jerusalem or to the children of Israel, man. All nations come back to the children of Israel, man. That's what that's going into, man. Right? See, it says concerning Judah and Jerusalem, man. Right, and it's not talking about just a typical mountain. It's talking about the children of Israel, man. And these mountains ain't always talking about mountains, man. Even though it's set on the hill, the city that is set on the hill, which is Jerusalem, man. But it's talking about the people, man, and not just Judah, but all of Israel. In the last days, right? And even that can go into Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Shai, Lion of Judah, man, right? That's what it could go into as well, man. So this is Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 25, and it reads, Behold, I am against the old destroying mountain. The mountains ain't destroying nothing, man. What is this talking about? A nation, man, destroying nation, right? Saith Yahweh, which destroyeth all the earth. What is this talking about? America, man. Right, and it says, And I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. America. This is what it's talking about right there, man. There ain't no way to get around that, man. Right? And it ain't talking about just a regular mountain, man. It's talking about America, right? Yeah, it's just the way that the people talk, man. Right? Daniel 2:35 reads, There was the iron, clay, and brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, right? And the wind carried them away that no place was found for them, and the stone smote the image, became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth, man. So that's talking about how the Israelites, when they got scattered, man. And then this is basically talking about how the kingdom is going to be destroyed, right? And then the Israelites is brought together, right? And the wind carrying them away is talking about us being gathered together back unto Israel, man. And then also it's saying, and the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, right? And filled the whole earth. So this is talking about us coming back, man, right? Cornerstone, Yahweh Shai, right? The stone that destroyed the image. That's Yahweh Shai. And the image of the beast was the image of the beast. We're going to get into that eventually, man. But it goes into the prophecy, man. That's what that's going into, is Yahweh Shai destroying this place. And it says it became like a great mountain, so he's going to be lifted up, man, right? Great ruler, man, right? Governments, kingdoms, right? That's what it's going into, right? The number one governor of Israel, Yahweh Shai, man, right? So we're going to go into hills, which is pretty much the lesser nations. I only have a couple precepts to back that up, but it's not really too necessary to go into. What am I doing? What am I doing? Slovakia. Come on. What am I doing? Oh, it looked like something else. I don't know what's going on here, right? But Micah 6. So this is going into hills now. I'm done with the mountains. I've shown you a couple cases where they use it metaphorically and how it's talking about certain things, man. And there's just the tonality of their speech, man. Other times, the metaphorical speech of Israel, man. It's not always the case where we're using metaphors and soliloquies, right? But it's often where we do it that way, man. And people are like, nah, that's just talking about mountains, man. That's just talking about hills. No, it ain't always the case, man. You got to understand the wording and the tonality of this text, man. And then understand what is applying to what, man. Right? So, this Micah 6:1, we're going into hills, like I said, right? Hear ye now what Yahweh saith, right? Arise, contend thou before the mountains, and let the hills hear thy voice, right? Hear ye, O mountains, Yahweh's controversy, and ye strong foundations of the earth, for the Lord have a controversy with his people, and he will plead with Israel, man. How the mountains and the hills hearing, man. It's talking about the other nations hearing a word, man, and how they gonna hear about Israel, man, right? The Lord testifying against Israel in this chapter, man, right? And it said mountains and hills because it was talking about governments and lesser nations, man, and nations as well, man, right? Kingdoms, man, right? The people in the kingdoms, man, right? Okay, so we're gonna get a little bit in this couple verses. So this Psalm 114 and 6 and 4 it's the mountains skip like rams and the hills and the little hills like lambs, right? And it says, "What ailed thee, O thou sea, that thou fleddest, thou Jordan, and that thou was driven back, ye mountains, that ye skipped like rams, and ye little hills like lambs," right? So this talking about everything that's happening, man, right? It's talking about the destruction and what happens when Babylon gets destroyed, man. Uh, yeah, hold on. I'm just getting it real quick to see something. So the verse 3 is literally talking about the literal sea, because that's talking about Egypt, right? And then the mountains skip like rams, man, right? And the hills are like little lambs, man. Talking about the nations, man, right? Because the mountains ain't skipping, the hills ain't like little lambs, you know what I mean? It's about the nations, man, right? And also, this is going into the end because when the Israelites take rule, the earth rejoice, man, right? The people are gonna rejoice, man, right? Is not always about what we think it is. So we're gonna get into a little bit deeper prophecy right here, with dealing with the beast, and I'm gonna have to explain what it is because the beast it ain't just talking about beasts in Revelation. It's about animals, man, and how the word Lord often refers to like different animals um, as things, man. This is Daniel chapter 7 verse 3. It says, "And four great beasts came up from the sea." The verse one from the other, right? So this is a prophecy, right? It's actually talking about past and present, man, right? And it says, "And the first was like a lion, had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it," right? So that lion is Babylon, man, right? That's what that's going into, right? And it says, "And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it was raised up itself on one side, and it had three ribs in the mouth of it between the teeth of it, right? And they said unto it, Arise, devour much flesh," right? That's talking about the Medo-Persian Empire, right? This beast is going into empires, man, right? This one in certain cases here, man, right? And then this third one, in verse 6, right? Yeah, that's where I was at, right? Okay, and it says, "And after this I beheld, lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it four wings of a fowl, right? The beast had also four heads, and dominion was given to it," right? That's going into Greece, right? And then I'm not really getting too deep into this right now. We could get this video down the line. Daniel 7 breakdown maybe might come down out eventually, but I'm not getting it at this point because I don't feel like it's necessary to go in depth with this, breaking this down. So I'm just saying what they are at this point. And this verse 7, it says, "After this I saw that in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it," right? "And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns." So in Revelation, we see the 10 horns. We should know what this is talking about. Do I gotta say it? Hopefully, I don't need to say what it is, man. It's going into Rome and Rome rebirth, America. Then I didn't need to say it, but I did anyway, right? So this is Revelation 13, verse 1. It says, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea," right? What is that talking about? "And saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns," right? "And upon his head, his horns, 10 crowns, right? And upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were like the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority." So this is why America is called Babylon the Great Whore, man, right? This is a beast, right? This is the beast. It ain't a beast. It's talking about a empire, man, right? Because America America took the ways of the lion, the leopard, and the bear, man. Right? That's why it says here, it was like unto a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, relating to Daniel 7, right? Because that they took the ways of Babylon, Media Persia, right? And Greece, right? And they blended it all together into the Roman Empire, which turned into the Byzantine Empire, which turned into the American Empire, man, right? This is all a conglomerate. It never really failed, man. The people in power might have failed, but the ideologies and ways of this place have been consistent, man. Right? They started in Rome. It couldn't get spread because the word was still around. They took the word and they diluted it with their doctrines. They didn't put anything in it, but they diluted it with their doctrines. And now that's why we have the mass hysteria of what we call Christianity today, man. And then the seven horns or the seven heads really goes into the seven captivities we face: Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Media Persia, Greece, Rome, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then USA, man. USA is the one that have the 10 horns, man, and the 10 horns is pretty much EU, man. We pretty much going into this book again for the beast, because that's what happens when you go into these beasts. It's often referred to Revelation 17. So we got to get Revelation 17 again. We're going to read verse 3 real quick. And it says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns of America. Right, in verse 9, right, it says, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, man. Why would it say 7 mountains? Right, because it's 7 nations, right, on which the woman sitteth, right, and that even mountains is talking about 7 captivities in this instance, man, right, and there are 7 kings or kingdoms, 5 are fallen, right, and one is, and the other is not yet come, and when he cometh, he must continue for a short space. What is that talking about? America, right? Rome died, Byzantine Empire came and then went away. Well, not really went away, but went away. And now America, right? Which is going to continue for a short space, man. Right? That's what that's going into. Verse 11, it says, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th and is of the 7th, right? And goeth into perdition, right? And it says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, 10 kingdoms, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as king 1 hour with the beast, right? So they're going to receive power eventually, but then they're going to lose it, man. Right? Really, they have power, man. Right? They have power because they could be trying to rise up and battle against America, the beast, man, the great horde that sits upon many waters, man. This is all things that are also metaphorical speech, man. Great whore. Right? Yes, America is full of whoredom, man. A great whore. You feel what I'm saying? That's a metaphorical speech, man. Even though it's one and the same, but yeah. So got another one here. So this Hosea 13:7. It says, therefore I will be unto them as a lion, as a leopard by the way I will observe them. I will meet them as a bear that is bereaved of her whelps, and I will rend the call of their heart, and there will I devour them like a lion. The wild beast shall tear them up. Talking about Israel and how the Lord did upon us these other nations, man, these other wicked societies or captivities, man, right? The beast is going into pretty much some servitudes, man, right? And the rulers that are in those ahead of those servitudes, man, right? And then this one. So Psalm 22 verse 12, it says, many bulls have compassed me, strong bulls of Bashan have beset me round. They gate me, oh no, Salakia, right? Yeah, okay. They gave me, they gave upon me with their mouths as ravening and a roaring lion, man. So this talking about us being in servitude, man, right? Us being compassed about with our enemies, man, right? You should come at him one way and flee 7 ways. That's what that's going into, man. Not even that, man, but in a sense, man, right? So now we're gonna go into this vipers, man, or snakes, right? Because these snakes is basically talking about how people ain't got good intentions, man. They venomous, man, right? The first one we have to get is Matthew 23, right? Matthew 23, and we're gonna get to 33. Right? It says, "Ye serpents, ye generation of vipers, how can ye escape the damnation of hell, man?" Right? He's talking to the Pharisees there, man. Wicked ass people, man. Venomous, actually. Right? So let's get this Matthew 3, verse 7. It says, but when he saw but when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees coming to his baptism, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who have warned you to flee from the wrath to come, right? So we got to understand he's talking to the Pharisees and he calling them vipers, man, because they poisonous, man, and how they move, man, right? The actions ain't likened to that of the spirit, man. It's like more likened to a serpent, man. Right? We can see that in Psalms 58:3. It says the wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born. Right? Speaking lies, their poison is like the poison of a serpent. Right? They are like the deaf adder to the stomach, her ear. Right? Which will not hearken to the voice of charming never so wisely. Man. Right? That was it on that. I actually got another verse that I didn't need to get, but we see that the wickedness, man, the wicked, that's what the vipers and serpents is going into, and the snakes, man. Right? When we call somebody a snake, that mean they going go snake you, man. This is no other way to go about it. They gonna stab you in the back, man. Right? And stab you in the back ain't even like that's another metaphorical term that Israel used, man. Right? Snakes stab you in the back. That's how we speak, man. Right? Even the white man take our terminology and use it. But when you see the Jewish man, they so literal, man. We see through the metaphorical tongue of Israel that it can only be closely related to the Hispanics, blacks, and natives, man. Right? Because a lot of these natives, they say smooth like water. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. That's tonality of the Israelites, man. Right? Sometimes you see that in the Japanese and Chinese, man, and that's understood too, man, because it is a Hebrew thing, man. But when it comes to Esau, they so bland they can't even imitate that, man. Right? Yeah, Psalms 58, I got that. Isaiah 59. Slakia. Right? So this Isaiah 59, and we get in verse 4, right? It says, none calleth for justice, nor any pleadeth for truth. They trust in vanity and speak lies. They conceive mischief and bring forth iniquity. They hatch cockatrice eggs. Cockatrice in the Hebrew is basically going into serpent, man. Right? And they weave and weave the spider's web, man. So basically, this right here, cockatrice eggs and weave the spider's web. This talking about wicked ways, man. Perfect example of this. And let me continue on. He that eateth of their eggs dieth, and that which is crushed breaketh out into a viper, man. Right? So the cockatrice eggs, man, this talking about they bring forth wickedness, man. Whether they could bring forth children that are wicked, right? In the literal sense, cockatrice eggs, man. Or their ways, their fruit of their doings is more like unto serpents, man. What they get from what they put in, man, is wicked, man. Right? You might got money, but your grandma ain't gonna take your money because she's saying, I don't want that dirty drug money and stuff like that, man. I don't want that money from you. You know what you had to do to get that money? That's what our mothers and stuff would say, man. If we came and tried to pay a bill with money from the streets, man. Right? Our mothers would never try and take money from us if we if we doing that stuff, man. But if we got a 9 to 5, mom might call us up all the time, like, "Hey, can I borrow $5? Can I borrow $20?" So on and so forth, man. Right? That's how it works. Even grandma and stuff when she do that, man. Right? Come to the men who they know that are upright. At least in their ways with getting the money, man. They ain't going out here and being sorcerers and wicked, man. This is talking about how people, when they do things, they bring forth wickedness through their works, man. Right? And then that's why it says, and weave the spider's web, he that eateth of their eggs dieth, man. Because you got to think about the gang culture, man. When you get into a gang, when you're trying to get out, man, you most likely gonna have to die, man, sometimes, right? And then the only way out of of the streets, man, is death or in jail, man, right? 6 feet under or in a prison, man, right? This is what this is going into, man, right? The wicked ways of man, right? Like it's saying Romans 6:26, if I'm not mistaken, I might be mistaken though. The wages of sin are death, man, right? We gotta understand that the metaphorical tongue of Israel is persistent still to this day, man. Right? And nothing much has changed, man. We still speak in the same manner in which we did of old, man. Right? I got one more, right? And then even if you go into like how Yahweh Shai said, he like mother gathereth her a hen gathereth her chicks to the nest or her eggs to the nest, whatever he said. I'm not sure, but that's another metaphorical way of speaking, man. But that's more so a comparison rather to speaking metaphorically, man, because he said like a hen gathereth her chickens into the nest. That's literally saying it's like what it is, man. But yeah, this it's still a metaphor in a simile, man. We still see it, but it ain't as to these extent, right? So this is Sirach 21 verse 2. It says, "Flee from sin as the face of a serpent," right? So basically, you're saying like do this like you see a serpent, right? And this is saying like as well, man. It's comparing sin to that of a serpent, man. If you get bit by a serpent, what's gonna happen, man? You don't know, and especially in this time, man, they didn't know whether they was poisonous or not. They didn't even try and just figure it out, man. When Israel came around, man, we wasn't trying to figure this out, man. We wasn't dealing with serpents, man. We wasn't dealing with poisonous things. If it bite you once, man, you're not gonna get bit again. You're gonna tell them, yo, don't play with them snakes. You might die. We don't know if they gonna kill you or not, right? Even blacks of today, man. Even if we go outside, man, as youth, man, some of us might play with snakes, but some of us ain't gonna damn near to go near a snake. Now, don't play with that snake, especially if your mom see you playing with a snake. Don't play with that snake. You don't know if it was gonna bite you and you might get poisoned or something. And that, in good old Buffalo, man, right? In good old Niagara Falls, it don't matter, right? Good old Niagara Falls, you hear stuff like this, man. As a kid, I would hear stuff like this, man. Right? Snakes all crawling through the backyard, man. Gardener snakes, man. Not poisonous, man, but nobody know, man. You want to get bit by that, you better stop playing with them, right? All right, you gonna find out. That's the type of thing, man, right? So it's saying flee from sin as from the face of a serpent. If thou comest too near it, it will bite thee. The teeth thereof as a teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men, man. Because when you get bitten by sin, man, you might die, man. Right? You might end up in that coffin, man. Right? That's why it says flee from sin. Because if you get bit by it, you're gonna die, man. Right? The wages of sin are death, man. That's why this vipers and venom in that vipers is going into pretty much wicked, man. Being wicked, right? We see the connotation of animal like that being compared to wickedness, man. Right? And that's all we get from it, man. So I just wanted to do this quick little lesson, man. 34 minutes? It ain't that long, right? Of the metaphorical speech of Israel, man. So hopefully, Yahweh this lesson was edifying, man. I want to say Yahweh B'Shem Yahshai Barakatah, EGA till we see the day. Kwam Yashala. Amen. Let's get up off of this thing. Where's the mouse?